A dusty lot hums with heat as a woman's plea cuts the air, a debt whispered in trust, now a shadow of betrayal. She lent him cash for a prize he drives, but he calls it a gift, his grin, a mask. In a tense courtroom, secrets unravel through silent messages and veiled truths. Will justice pierce the haze? Unfold this enigma where a quiet strength battles sly charm. A promise twists into a storm and a blazing day's clash lingers with questions of faith unbroken. The air outside the Blue Moon Diner on the edge of Boise, Idaho, hung heavy with the mingled scents of dust kicked up from the gravel lot and the faint tang of grease wafting from the kitchen under a blazing July noon. Its oppressive stillness pierced by the sharp rising plea of a woman's voice cutting through the hum of cicadas. The diner, a squat stucco building with chipped paint and a neon sign flickering faintly in the daylight, sat nestled along Highway 55, its gravel lot dotted with pickups and the occasional semi, the sun beating down on cracked asphalt that shimmered with heat waves, rising like ghosts from the earth. The day was sweltering, a punishing 92 degrees by midday, the sky a vast, unrelenting blue, streaked with wisps of cloud that offered no shade, the air thick with the dry bite of summer that clung to the skin and sharpened every sound, the crunch of gravel under boots, the distant rumble of a truck on the highway, the steady clink of plates inside the diner's open door. Tara Evans, 32, a nurse with a steady hand forged by 5 years in Boise's ER, and a quiet resolve honed through late-night shifts, stitching wounds and soothing fears, stood just beyond the diner's entrance at 12:15 p.m. Her navy scrubs faded from countless washes, her dark hair pulled into a loose ponytail that swayed in the faint breeze, her steady, hazel eyes fixed on her ex-boyfriend with a mix of fury and determination. Her hands steady on a folded stack of bank statements, clutched like a shield, her breath sharp with the heat and the sting of betrayal as she faced him. Her life, a disciplined rhythm of care and survival since her divorce 2 years prior. Her presence unassuming, yet fierce, until it wasn't. She'd met Jake Riley 3 years ago at this very diner, a chance coffee spill, turning into a year of laughter and promises her savings, a lifeline she'd offered him in trust, $4,000 for a truck, to haul his tools, a loan she'd tracked with texts, and hope now a debt he'd twisted into a lie. Jake Riley, 34. A mechanic with a sly grin and a reputation for charm that masked a knack for dodging debts, leaned against his gleaming Ford F-150 parked in the lot, his blue eyes glinting with amusement beneath a sweat-stained ball cap, his lean frame relaxed beneath a faded flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, his breath even with the faint tang of the coke he'd sipped at 12 p.m. after a morning tinkering at Boise Auto Works. He'd climbed out of Boise's backlots through grit and guile, his uncle a shop owner who'd handed him a wrench and a chance his confidence, a mask forged in a world where favors were currency and promises were flexible, his mind a tangle of defiance and a quick tongue that had kept him afloat. He'd spotted Tara storming out of the diner, her voice rising as she demanded the $4,000, his sharp voice cutting through the heat at 12:15 p.m. Tara, chill. It was a gift, you gave it to me, end of story. Tara stepped closer, her steady hazel eyes blazing, her voice firm measured. It was a loan. Jake texts prove it. I want my money back. Jake laughed, a harsh edge slicing the air. Gift from a bitter ex. Sue me if you want, you won't win. What unfolded was swift and searing. Tara paused, her steady gaze, unwavering, then nodded once, her voice low. I will. I'm suing you, Jake. This isn't over. Jake's grin faltered, his blue eyes narrowing as the weight of her resolve sank in his sharp voice, barking. Good luck proving that. See you in court, sweetheart. The demand landed like a stone in the dust, the diner's patrons peering through the windows, truckers shifting a waitress, pausing with a tray, the cicadas' hum underscoring the tension. Tara, turning back to her car, her steady hands trembling faintly as she gripped the statements, her voice a whisper to herself. He'll pay. Jake saw a windfall slipping away, a game he'd played too long. Tara saw a loan, a trust betrayed, a spark to her resolve honed by years of stitching lives back together. She filed a small claims suit that afternoon at the Ada County Courthouse clerk's window, July 20th, her steady hands shaking as she signed her scrubs, swapped for a blazer borrowed from a friend. Her voice firm. "This is about justice. He owes me $4,000. Their clash ignited a storm over trust and truth. Boise's blazing noon, pressing down, like a judge's scrutiny waiting to fall the city's dusty lots a quiet witness to her stand. The Ada County Courthouse buzzed on a sultry August afternoon, its marble halls reverberating with the echo of footsteps that bounced off the polished floors, like a steady drumbeat threading through the thick, muggy air. The scent of polished oak blending with the faint musk of old files stacked in dusty corners, their edges yellowed and curling from years of handling, and the damp heat that seeped through the walls after July's relentless sun, and the sharp tang of coffee wafting from paper cups, clutched by restless hands, its bitter aroma drifting through the space like a ghost of hurried mornings. The small claims courtroom, perched on the second floor, was a modest chamber with oak benches worn smooth by decades of Boise's disputes, landlord battles settled with terse nods or bitter glares that hung heavy in the air, petty theft cases hashed out in clipped exchanges of blame and defense that left the room taut with unresolved tension, debt claims ending in reluctant nods or hollow promises that faded into the low hum of whispered conversations. Its walls were lined with faded maps of Idaho, their edges curling under the weight of time, and the humid air that slipped through the high windows, their glass streaked with the faint haze of an overcast afternoon, offering fleeting glimpses of Boise's skyline beyond its brick buildings, and the distant, shimmering ribbon of the Boise River glowing faintly under a pale, stormy sky. At the front, behind a raised bench scarred with nicks and pen marks that traced decades of rulings and late-night deliberations over yellowed files, sat Judge Clara Hensley, 58. Her gray hair pinned back in a tight bun that caught the fluorescent light, accentuating the sharp lines of her weathered face, etched by years of courtroom battles and Idaho summers. Her brown eyes sharp with a quiet intensity that sliced through the room's stillness like a hawk spotting prey across the Boise River's muddy expanse, seeing through bluster and bravado to the raw truth beneath a gaze that missed nothing and weighed everything with unflinching precision. Her robe hung crisp over a firm frame, tempered by years of discipline, broad shoulders, from her days as a ranch hand in Twin Falls before law school, her voice steady with authority, as it once called out to cattle across windy plains, hands steady from wielding gavels and pens, their knuckles faintly knotted from gripping justice, with a clarity that left no room for evasion. Her voice a firm, steady drawl, honed by 20 years on the bench, carrying a steel, forged through countless courtroom tangles as she called the case, her tone cutting through the muggy air like a whip cracking over a silent field. Evans versus Riley, small claims $4,000 dispute. Let's hear it, folks, and keep it tight. I want facts, not feelings. We're here for evidence, not stories. My docket's full, and this heat's not waiting for dawdling, so let's move. Tara sat at the plaintiff's table, flanked by her counsel, Sarah Mills, a wiry attorney with a rumpled suit that hung loose on her slight frame, her sharp green eyes darting between her client and the bench, a quick pen dancing across her notepad as she tracked every word, evidence meticulously stacked before them, a slim folder of legal citations, bank statements, text message printouts, witness affidavits, her steady, hazel eyes glinting with resolve, her dark ponytail crisp despite the heat, her navy blazer, borrowed from a friend, crisp over her frame, her hands steady on her folder despite the tremor of anticipation beneath her calm, a fire stoked by weeks of reliving that betrayal. The ex's sly grin, the truck's gleam, the weight of her trust shattered in a Boise diner lot. She'd left nursing school debts behind for a steady ER job. Her life, a quiet rhythm of healing and saving since her divorce, her presence unassuming until it demanded justice. Her resolve deepened by late shifts and broken trust. Her savings a lifeline she'd guarded. Jake Riley stood at the defendant's table flanked by his counsel, Tom Ellis, a wiry attorney with a pressed suit and a steady gaze that masked his nerves. His dark hair combed back neatly, papers thin and neatly arranged before them, little more than a handwritten note and a truck title. His sly grin steady but brittle, as he adjusted his posture, a faint sheen of sweat beading on his forehead, despite the fan's hum, his blue eyes hard with defiance, his lean frame tense beneath a clean flannel shirt, swapped for his usual grease-stained one. His breath, even as he braced for the fight, the faint whiff of motor oil lingering from a morning at Boise Auto Works, his lawyer's presence, a shield he'd leaned on to deflect debts since his first repo a decade ago. He'd built his life on charm, 10 years fixing rigs, a truck he'd coveted, now a noose. His confidence? A mask, now trembling, as Clara took the bench, his mind racing with shop bets, souring since Tara's suit hit. Clara leaned forward, her elbows resting firmly on the bench, her brown eyes scanning the filings with a predator's focus. Tara's typed claim for $4,000. Its pages crisp with dates, bank records, and a detailed recounting of the July 20th incident, laid out in stark black ink. Her nurse's precision, shining through every line, Jake's handwritten response, a single sheet claiming gift no loan, her pen tapping a slow, deliberate rhythm against her notepad. Each tap a signal she was sifting through their mess. With a judge's keen eye, her voice cutting through the gallery's hum like a foghorn over the river. Proof's the line here, folks, every time I see it in this room. A debt's weight caught in the balance evidence decides it. Prove your case. I want facts, not guesses, specifics, not tears. Let's cut to it. Who owes who? I need clarity, not chaos today. No whining, no waffling, just the truth. Plaintiff's up first. Her drawl carried a firm, unyielding authority, her gaze shifting between them, like a spotlight probing for cracks, weighing their claims with a steadiness that brooked no evasion. Her hands steady on the bench as she flipped through Tara's claim texts, bank transfers, a recounting of the diner scene, then Jake's response, a slim sheet that seemed to shrink under her scrutiny, her lips thinning slightly as she read the dates, her brown eyes narrowing with a flicker of skepticism. Woman claims a loan. Man claims a gift trust's cost caught in the middle. I need proof, not pleas. Let's hear it. The gallery buzzed, whispers swelling like a rising tide. Retirees like Ed Grayson, a grizzled farmer, with a thermos of black coffee muttering to his wife Clara. A retired clerk with a notepad clutched tight. She lent him cash. He's gonna squirm. She's got the goods. Young workers like Tara Mills, a cashier with a faded apron stuffed in her bag, whispering to her friend Lena Ortiz, a barista with tired eyes and a nervous fidget. She's got him texts, don't lie, he's toast. Jake's shop buddy Sam Carter, lanky, with a faded cap pulled low, nudging his pal Luke. Ramsey, a mechanic with a thick beard and a skeptical grunt. She gave it. Jake's solid judge will see. Their voices a low hum of anticipation, a chorus, threading through the tension, their bets and murmurs a backdrop to the courtroom's simmering storm, a pulse matching the muggy air, and the light's steady glow overhead, a rhythm that quickened as Tara stepped forward, her steady hazel eyes locking onto Clara, her resolve a steel thread woven through. Her calm. Tara's jaw tightened, her fingers clenching her folder until the edges creased her breath, steadying as she stood her sneakers silent on the marble, the weight of her trust and justice anchoring her stance. Jake's hands steadied, his blue eyes flickering with defiance, his sly grin faltering for a heartbeat. Clara's words, a gauntlet, thrown their clash now, a courtroom battlefield under her keen and piercing eye. Boise's blazing noon, a faint shimmer beyond the tall windows, its river dulled by haze as the city's quiet sprawl, a brooding witness to their unraveling truth. Tara took the stand first, climbing the steps with a steady grace that echoed softly off the marble floor, her navy blazer crisp over her frame, its fabric pressed with the meticulous care of a woman who'd spent 5 years in Boise's ER stitching lives back together. Her voice calm, yet edged with a quiet fury that simmered beneath her poised demeanor, a fire stoked by weeks of reliving that betrayal. The ex's sly grin, the truck's gleam, the weight of her trust shattered in a dusty diner lot. She swore, her hand firm on the Bible, its leather creased and soft from years of oaths, a weight grounding her resolve. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. She sat, hands resting on the rail, fingers tracing its worn grain, as she adjusted the microphone with a faint squeak, her steady hazel eyes locking onto Clara with a resolve, tempered by years of healing, and saving her dark ponytail swaying slightly as she leaned in, her breath steadying against the courtroom's muggy air, her voice threading through the stillness like a steady pulse. I lent him $4,000 for a truck text, prove it, bank records back it. It was a loan, not a gift he owes me. She slid her evidence across the stand with a deliberate motion, a thick folder of text message printouts, bank statements, witness affidavits, her voice steady, carrying across the room with a weight that filled the silence, a nurse's precision cutting through the haze. March 10th last year, Blue Moon Diner, he says I need cash for a truck. I say it's a loan, pay me back, texts show it, $4,000 you owe me. March 12th, bank transfer, $4,000 from my savings to his account, docket confirms it. Idaho, code 282201. Oral contract, enforceable with proof. He agreed, drove off in the truck, July 20th. This year, diner lot. I ask for it, he laughs, says gift. No gift, just lies. Her words landed like a quiet thunderclap, rippling through the gallery, her steady hazel eyes unwavering, a calm storm of justice beneath her poise. The weight of her trust and fight spilling into her testimony. Her ER nights a silent chorus, her divorce, a scar that fueled her stand. Clara leaned forward, her brown eyes sharp and unyielding, her pen poised over her notepad, its nib catching the light as she tapped it once. A signal she was slicing into the marrow of Tara's argument, her voice cutting dry through the muggy air like a scalpel through flesh. Texts clear, exact, what's it, Showtime words? Prove it to me, not just your. Say so, I need the loan, not your story. Tara's hands steadied her voice, firm, her steady hazel eyes glinting with a fire that burned beneath her calm as she slid the printouts forward, her fingers steady despite the tremor of indignation. Here, March 10th, 6:30 p.m. Need $4,000 for truck. I reply. Loan, pay me back. March 11th, 8 a.m. Sending $4,000 you owe me, bank statement. March 12th, transfer confirmed, no gift talk, just loan terms, he says. Thanks, I'll pay, clear as day. Gift, prove it, false. How's it show no present, not just your word? Show me the debt, not his dodge. Text, March 12th, owe you 4. He writes no gift, no, thanks for giving, bank record, no reversal witness. My friend Lena heard him say loan at the diner, his gift flops. I tracked it. Her voice rose slightly, a tremor of conviction breaking through her calm, her steady hazel eyes glinting with a flicker of pain beneath the resolve. Her hands trembling faintly as she pointed to the texts, the weight of her trust betrayed spilling into her words, her ER grit, a steady anchor. Debt cost specifics, why's it mine? Show me the harm, not just the cash. $4,000 my savings, ER overtime. Idaho code 282201, he agreed, owes me. Harms, my trust. My life working doubles to save it, he took it. Drives it, laughs. Justice demands repayment. Her voice steadied again, her hands unclenching slightly, her steady hazel eyes meeting Clara's, sharp scrutiny, her resolve, a steel thread beneath her calm. The courtroom holding its breath as she laid bare the stakes, her divorce a wound, her nursing a shield. Clara scribbled, her voice dry as the Boise dust outside her drawl, measured but piercing. Texts are steel, your take's solid, defendant's turn. I need facts, not fluff, go on. Jake Riley rose from the table, his ascent casual, yet tense. Each step thudding against the marble, like a hammer's echo, his clean flannel shirt tense over his lean frame. His sly grin, a brittle mask steady, but edged with defiance, as he swore, his hand heavy on the Bible, its weight grounding his faltering bravado. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. He sat, hands gripping the rail, fingers digging into the wood as he adjusted the microphone, his blue eyes locking onto Clara, with a defiance tempered by unease. His ball cap swapped for a clean shave, swaying slightly as he leaned in, his breath steadying against the courtroom's muggy air, his voice threading through the stillness like a slick thread. She gave me $4,000 a gift, not a loan. She's bitter, breakup blues making it up. No debt, just her grudge. He slid his evidence across with a casual flick. A handwritten note, a truck title, his voice steady, carrying across the room with a weight that faltered under scrutiny. A mechanic's charm cutting through the haze. March last year, diner, she says. Here's $4,000. I say, thanks. No pay me back gift, pure and simple. Texts? She's joking, breakup mess. No bank stuff, proves debt title's mine, she's mad. July 20th, diner lot, she yells. I laugh, her story, not mine. His words landed like a shaky plank, creaking, swaying through the gallery. His blue eyes flickering with a mix of certainty and creeping doubt, a fragile storm beneath his poise. His mind racing with the fallout, shop bets souring, since Tara's suit hit his uncle's faith, wavering, as whispers grew. Clara's gaze sharpened her pen, tapping once, her voice slicing through. Gift exact, when where, prove it was free. Show me facts, not words. Jake's hands steadied his voice, firm, his blue eyes glinting with a fire that burned beneath his panic. March 10th, diner. She hands me cash, says, for your truck. I say, thanks. No loan, no ow. March 12th, she texts, $4,000. I say, cool. No debt talk, title's mine, no strings. Her loan. Flops, she's mad. Debt, prove it false, how's it show, no. Oh, not just your word. Show me the give, not her grip. No text, say, pay back out was her spin buddy. Sam heard her say, for you at diner. No bank note, says loan gifts clear, she's twisting it. His voice rose slightly, a tremor of desperation, breaking through his defiance, his blue eyes glinting with a flicker of fear beneath the resolve. His hands trembling faintly, as he pointed to the note, the weight of his lie spilling into his words, his shop life, a gamble he'd lost. Harm, cost, specifics. Why's it hers? Show me the gain, not just her loss. No harm. She gave it, breakup. Blues title's mine, no debt, her. Loss is her grudge. $4,000's hers to eat, not mine to pay, truth simple. She's bitter. His voice steadied his hands, unclenching his blue eyes pleading beneath the strain, the courtroom holding its breath, as he laid bare his fragile dodge, his uncle's shop, a fading refuge, his charm, a crumbling shield. The courtroom crackled as witnesses took the stand, their voices threading through the muggy air, like live wires sparking in the heat, each testimony, a jolt that fueled the mounting tension. Tara's friend, Lena Ortiz, a wiry barista with a steady gaze and calloused hands from years pouring coffee at the Blue Moon, testified first, climbing the stand with a calm step that belied the weight of her words, her voice steady, her brown eyes clear and unflinching. March 10th, last year, diner. I heard her say, it's a loan, pay me back, he said, sure thanks, no gift talk, just a deal. July 20th, this year lot, she asked, he laughed, said gift lie. Clara leaned in, her brown eyes piercing. Exact time. What did you see? How'd he act? Prove it, not guess. Show me the loan, not his line. Lena's hands rested steady on the rail, her voice firm. 6:30 p.m. March 10th, diner booth 10 feet away. She says, loan $4,000. He nods, I'll pay. July 20th, noon lot. He grins. Gift dodges, no gift then. I heard it clear, he agreed. Her words landed like a quiet hammer, the gallery shifting whispers, swelling, as she stepped down her shifts at the diner, a silent witness to their pact. Her loyalty to Tara, a steady rock. Jake's shop buddy, Sam Carter, followed his ascent. Slower boots, scuffing the marble with a reluctant thud. His lanky frame hunched slightly under a faded flannel shirt. His quiet smirk fading, as he swore, his hand heavy on the Bible. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. He sat, hands gripping the rail, fingers twitching, as he adjusted the microphone, his blue eyes locking onto Clara, with defiance and a flicker of unease that danced beneath his lean frame. His voice gruff but steady, cutting through the air like a low growl. She gave it. March last year, diner. Said for your truck. No, payback, gift, not loan. She's mad now. July 20 lot, she yells. He laughs her grudge, not debt. Both. He slid his thin papers across a scribbled note, his voice carrying a weight of certainty, though a faint crack betrayed his strain. 6 p.m., March 10, diner. 10 feet back, she says, here's cash. He says thanks. No loan, just a give. July 20th noon lot. He says gift. She flips her story, not his. Clara's gaze sharpened, her pen tapping, once her voice slicing through. Gift exact, when where, prove it was free, show me facts, not words. But Sam's hands steadied, his voice firm, his blue eyes glinting with a flicker of defiance. 6 p.m., March 10th. Diner, she hands cash for you. He says, cool. No pay. No ow. July 20th lot, he laughs. Gift, she's mad. That's it, note says, heard gift, no debt. Loan, prove it false. How's it show no debt, not just your take? Show me the give, not her grip. No payback, she said for truck. He took it, notes clear, gift texts. Her spin shop talk, he said she gave, no loan, just her grudge. His voice wavered, his hands clenching the note. His blue eyes flickering with a shadow of doubt beneath the defiance, the gallery holding its breath. As his words stumbled, his shop loyalty, a fraying thread since Tara's suit, hit his own bets, souring with Jake's dodge. Evidence clashed like thunderheads colliding. Tara's texts, time-stamped, March 10th, 6:30 p.m. Loan, $4,000, pay me back. Jake's reply, thanks, I'll pay. March 12th, 8 o'clock a.m. Sent $4K OU. Clear as the Boise Sunbank statements, March 12th. $4,000 transfer. From Tara to Jake stood firm affidavits. Lena, heard loan, he agreed, solid as stone. Idaho Code 282201, oral contract with proof, Jake's note, heard gift and title paled beside the texts. A flimsy scrap against a tidal wave of truth. Sam's no pay talk, echoed Jake, but crumbled under the text's clarity. A thin reed bending under scrutiny. Tara's folder swelled with diner receipts, placing them there. A timeline, tight as a nurse's stitch, her ER precision, a silent force. Clara probed, her voice sharp as a blade, her brown eyes blazing like a storm breaking over the river. Debt or dodge texts show debt. Why deny? Prove it to me, Mr. Riley. Gift or lie, what's it say? Jake's jaw tightened, his voice sly, defiance flaring. Gift, she gave it for truck, no pay texts. Jokes, breakup, spin, title's mine. No debt, lies hers, she's bitter. His hands clenched the rail, his blue eyes flickering with a mix of certainty and panic, the gallery gasping as his words clashed with the text's silent truth. His shop life. A gamble. He'd lost his uncle's faith, a fading echo. Clara's gaze narrowed, her pen slashing the page. Texts are fact, your gift, Ben's next witness. I need steel, not smoke. Bun. The air thickened as the next witness was called, Tara's co-worker, Marla Evans. A plump nurse with a steady gaze and a soft Idaho drawl climbed the stand, her testimony, a quiet counterpoint, her voice a steady thread in the storm. March 11th last year. ER break room, she said, lent Jake $4,000 for a truck. Worried he'd skip July 20th diner lot. I saw her ask. He grinned, gift. No gift, then, loan clear. Clara cut in. Exact when, where, prove it, not echo. What did she say? Marla's hands rested steady, her voice firm. 8 p.m., March 11th, break room 10 feet away. Loaned him $4,000, she's tense. July 20th noon. Lot, he laughs. Gift. Texts match, I heard it. No gift, just debt. Clara's voice sharpened. Debt, explain it, why loan? Why lie? Marla's gaze held. No lie she saved, he needed texts say, ow, he twists loan's truth, not gift. The gallery murmured tension, coiling tighter. As Marla stepped down, her ER shifts, a silent witness to Tara's trust, her friendship, a steady anchor. A week of unrelenting heat testimony piled like cordwood on a blazing fire. Voices rose like thunder rolling over the Boise River papers, shuffled into towering stacks, their edges curling in the muggy air. Ink smudged from anxious hands. The courtroom, a crucible simmering with sweat and strain, its air thick with the weight of words, and the gallery's murmurs swelling like a storm breaking over the city's brick sprawl. Clara recessed daily, retreating to her chambers, a stark nook with a scratched desk cluttered with files, and a half-read novel. Its pages yellowed from years on the shelf, a window framing Boise's skyline, hazy through a streaked pane. The city's buildings and river dulled by afternoon haze. Her coffee cooling untouched beside a stack of Idaho statutes and a worn legal pad, its pages scrawled with notes, timestamps, texts. Her boots tapping a relentless rhythm against the hardwood as she paced her mind, sifting through the tangle with a judge's keen precision, weighing every word, every glance, every scrap of evidence against the emotional currents swirling beneath like the river's hidden depths. Its flow steady but unseen, its silt muddying the truth, her ranch days, a distant echo of grit, her law school nights, a steel spine, her Boise years, a steady pulse. She returned on Monday, August 28th, her robe rustling as she climbed the bench, her voice firm cutting through the room's hum like a blade through silence, her brown eyes sweeping the gallery, then settling on Jake with a weight that pinned him like stones under a river's relentless current. Her presence, a stern anchor in the storm, her drawl, sharp and unyielding. Texts bind him $4,000 due, pay her March last year loan upheld. She leaned forward, her pen tapping once, a single resounding strike, her voice rising, her brown eyes blazing like a storm breaking over the river, her words, a thunderclap that silenced the room. Evidence don't lie, Mr. Riley, you do. Texts March 10th, 6:30 p.m. Loan $4,000, pay me back, you say. Thanks, I'll pay. March 12th, 8 a.m. Sent $4,000. Bank transfer $4,000 clear as day. Affidavits. Lena heard loan, he agreed. Marla. Lent $4,000 Idaho. Code 282201 contract holds with proof your note. Gift flops, no free talk. You owe $4,000 due 30 days, truth's out, and it's heavy. Tara stood tall, her steady hazel eyes softening, a flicker of triumph washing over her, like a wave breaking on shore. Her hands unclenching on her folder, a weight lifting from her shoulders, though the echo of that betrayal lingered. A shadow of justice reclaimed her trust, and savings affirmed the courtroom's gasp, a chorus of awe as she stepped back. Her mission, not just to win, but to mend a quiet strength, now a beacon, her ER nights, a silent testament, her divorce, a scar that ached less, now her resolve, a fire that burned steady. Jake sank into his seat, his blue eyes dimming, his lean frame slumping as if the air had been sucked from his lungs, his hands clenching his note until the paper tore a sharp rip, slicing the silence. Fault laid bare charm. A shadow, unmasked a truth he couldn't shrug off, a burden now etched into his bones. His sly grin dissolving into a grimace as the gallery's murmurs swelled around him like a tide, his truck a noose he'd tightened himself, his shop bets a fading echo, his uncle's faith a crumbling shield. The gallery erupted in hushed awe, Ed muttering, "She's got him texts her king, he's cooked." Clara nodding, "Fair's fair, she nailed him." Tara whispering, "Told you, truth wins, she's fierce." Lena grinning, "She's a rock nurse power." Sam shaking his head, "He saw a gift on his take." Luke silent, his jaw tight. Clara's gavel fell a crisp thud, wood meeting wood, echoing like a vault slamming shut, silencing the storm. 4,000, due 30 days, case closed, facts clear. Ms. Evans prevails. Next. Outside. Boise shimmered under a dusk streaked with amber and violet, the air cooling as the sun sank below the horizon, its golden light glinting off the Boise River's gentle ripples, casting a fleeting glow over the city's brick skyline, the streets alive with the hum of evening traffic, and the distant pulse of cicadas fading into the night. The city's pulse, a steady beat beneath the glow. Tara drove off in her Honda, its silver finish catching the last rays, her steady hazel eyes glinting with relief and a quiet triumph. Her hands steady on the wheel as she navigated the streets toward her apartment in the North End. The hum of the engine, a soft melody beside her. A future brighter, yet still tender, her mind, drifting to the fallout she'd won, headlines buzzing nurse, wins $4,000 from ex-coworkers, cheering her ER shift that night, Jake's truck, a symbol of her resolve, her quiet strengths. The spark that lit a fire of justice in Boise's courts. Her savings soon restored a pause after the storm. Yet a question lingered in the stillness. Would trust heal in Boise's dust? Or would betrayal's shadow stretch further, clawing back from the light she'd cast her ER nights? A testament, her divorce, a wound, now fading, her resolve a steady flame. Jake faded into the courthouse lot, his Ford parked, crooked, against a cottonwood. Its white finish dulled by dusk, his blue eyes hard, with a flicker of disbelief, his lean frame slumped against the door, his hands gripping his cap with a force that whitened his knuckles. Tension unspent, a storm brewing beneath his silence, his sharp voice muttering to the wind. "She gave it. I saw it, damn text her wrong." A shadow of doubt he couldn't shake clung to him. A fault he couldn't shrug off, a burden now etched into his stride as he climbed in and drove west toward his trailer in Meridian, his taillights fading into the crisp golden glow. A mechanic's charm, shattered by a debt's cost. A question trailing behind him like exhaust fumes in the night air. Could he reclaim honesty from a moment's lie? Or would the debt he'd dodged swallow him whole? A casualty of the truth he'd failed to see, his shop bet's dust, his uncle's faith, a fading echo, his truck a weight he'd bear, yet his echo lingered in Boise's backlots, a cautionary tale for those who'd watched. Clara drove home to her ranch house on the city's edge, its cedar siding catching the last golden rays, before dusk swallowed them, the Boise River. A shimmering silhouette against the sky, its edges blurring into shadow. The cottonwoods along its banks, whispering in the breeze. Her sedan rumbling over asphalt, its tires humming a steady tune as she pondered. Would honesty bloom between a nurse and a town bound by a debt's violent turn? Would trust's weight soften, or drift further into the dusk like a lesson half learned? A bond unhealed her ranch days, a distant grit, her law school nights, a steel guide, her Boise years, a steady pulse, her rulings, a testament to justice's grind. The horizon stretched Idaho's hills, whispering under a sky deepening to indigo, the river glinting faintly, a mirror to her thoughts. What heals a scar carved by betrayal? What waits, in the crisp golden glow, for a woman with resolve and a man with shame? What lessons linger in the cool air for a debt that broke trust? But not her spirit. Her Twin Falls roots, a steady flame, her Boise bench, a legacy etched in oak. A question hung open, and vast, shimmering in Boise's quiet night. A truth unresolved, a story trailing into the dusk. Its next chapter waiting beyond the courtroom, beyond the river, beyond the glow that settled over the city, like a promise yet to unfold, a whisper of what might rise from the ashes of a blazing noon's reckoning. Tara's trust, a fragile seed. Jake's debt, a lingering echo. Clara's justice, a quiet call. Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment and let me know what you think about this story. Please like and subscribe to watch more great content on my channel.